So thank you for being here today. Before we dive into the agenda, I'd like to take a moment to introduce someone who plays a pivotal role in M3 DAO's success. So we are very fortunate to have GC with us today, and GC heads the investment department for M3 DAO. And it's the driving force behind all the incredible projects that we had the privilege of participating in. His expertise and leadership have opened the doors for numerous opportunities, and also we couldn't be more grateful for his dedication and vision. GC is truly an honor to have you here with us today. So we are looking forward to hearing your insight. Thank you for joining us. GC, you're here? Can you unmute yourself?
All right. Hello.
Hi, GC.
All right.
The stage is yours.
Okay, just to make sure, can everyone see my screen? If
Yes,
you can
we
see my
can.
screen,
Yes,
give
we
me a
can.
thumbs up.
All right, everyone just click 333 if let's say you can see the screen in the chat box.
Okay, I see all of you can see my screen. Okay, so let's begin. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. I believe most of us here are from all around the world. And I'm over here dialing in from Asia. So right now it's about past midnight, 1 a.m. for me right now. So it's very great to see all of you here today to take part in this sharing session. And for today, this session will be about the investments at M3 DAO. And I'll also introduce a little bit about what we do here in the investment department and where we invest our money in. And I'll also talk a little bit about myself for those that have not met me yet, or it is your first time meeting me, whether online or offline. So let's begin. So a little self-introduction about myself. You can call me GC, and I'm from Singapore. So we are in the Asian time zone right now. I'm a crypto and Web3 native person with about 8 years in the industry. So my very first involvement with the workforce has actually been in crypto. And I started way back in 2015, where I got my first Bitcoin, and it has led me all the way to this point where I have my own fund, and many things have happened in between. So I got my first Bitcoin in 2015 when Bitcoin was still like 200 USD. And then I saw it went up all the way from 200 to 1,000 to 20,000, then back to 5,000, and then all the way back up to what it is today at 54,000. And I was also invested in Ethereum, and I did Ethereum mining in 2016, where Ethereum was still below $20, and it was not very well known at that time. And ever since then, made a little bit of money, and I've invested in over 100 crypto projects. So I have been in the investment circle for quite some time right now. And for this year, it is finally the time for my own fund to have a brand. And that's where we launched the GC Capital, where we invest in early stage projects, bring projects into exchanges and bring them to market. And I'm right now the managing partner and also the founder at GC Capital. And I'm also the core contributor and also the head of investment at M3 DAO. So I bring some of my investment knowledge, some of my investment opportunities over to the DAO, so that everyone, even a regular user, could take part in. And at the same time, I'm also the advisor in multiple Web3 projects, and also an advisor in some of the venture capital in Web3. And also, I used to do listing in both Maxi Global and Binance. So a little bit about how the journey for me was. Back in 2015, when I made my first bit of money, what I actually did was not immediately going into crypto. It was actually first through, I founded my own startup and I did digital agency work. and I did advisory work for some of the Singapore government agencies and some of the big local companies in Singapore. Then I went to the Singapore Armed Forces because all Singaporean men have to go through 2 years of service, and that's where I spent 2 years in the military intelligence department, where we dealt with a lot of new technology and solutions as well. So after coming out, the exchange called Maxi Global contacted me, and back then I was actually contacted to do branding and marketing for them. And they found me through my previous startup because I actually exited my startup in the year 2020. And that's where I started working in the cryptocurrency exchange circle. So originally I was there for branding, and I did their overseas market because they were a Chinese exchange and they have no involvement in the global markets at all. So everything non-Chinese that you see on Maxi Global, I had a part to play in those at the very beginning. Then I went on into listing because I found that listing was the way to bring in external volume into an exchange. So that's where I brought in multiple non-Chinese projects into a Chinese exchange. And when I joined the exchange, it was ranked 158. But when I left, it was ranked 15 in the global exchange ranking on CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko. Then after spending about 1.5 to 2 years in Maxi Global as both a consultant and also the global listing lead, I went on to Binance to kickstart the NFT department. So back then, NFT were just getting known in the market, in the industry. It was very new technology at the time. And just because of my experience and resources and connections in the NFT gaming meme space in Maxi Global, I was selected to be their listing manager in Binance. So that's where I handle NFT projects, whether it is tokens, whether it is NFTs, partnerships in any form. And later on, when the NFT market was more mature, I did Web3 partnerships with traditional companies. So some of you may know Frank Miller, you may know Jimmy Choo. These brands were brought onto Binance by me, and I also handled IP, which stands for intellectual property. So celebrities, famous people, sports stars, football stars, and all of the sort. Then after I left in last year, I left Binance, I went on to start my own personal fund, but I have been investing in projects even before I was in Binance. So I brought a lot of experience, and the name GC Capital and my personal reputation is already quite well known in the space. So I was able to get into a lot of high value deals, a lot of high quality projects, and I was taking part in a lot of early stage projects that eventually made it into the big exchanges. So a little fun fact about myself, before I even got into investment, I was actually a trader. And even before I got into Binance in the year 2021, I have already entered the top 500 traders in Binance with a net profit of over 15 million USD. And this was the email that I've gotten from Binance when I've crossed that mark. And ever since then, I have went on to crush 20 million, 30 million, so on and so forth. Then I went big into investing for the long term instead of trading. And I'll tell you why trading is actually not a very good way of making money if you're not good at it. But I'll share more in the later part of the presentation. So when I was in Binance, I took care of some of the high value IP deals, and I have them on the screen right now. And some of you may be familiar with some of these brands here. And there is a lot of other projects out there on Binance that I was in charge of. So just right off the bat in this screen, we have Cristiano Ronaldo, Mike Tyson, Tyson Fury, Frank Miller, Tony Cruz, Jimmy Choo, and many more others. So through this department, I brought in many big IPs into the exchange and also got in contact with many high quality connections in the traditional business space as well as the Web3 space. And just through the sale of NFTs alone, I brought in a total of 30 million USD worth of sales in primary sales. And then, of course, the price of those NFTs continue to rise. And the total amount of users that I acquired for Binance was well above 800,000, which is huge for an exchange like Binance, because almost everybody in the crypto space probably have a Binance account. So we're talking about brand new users coming into crypto. So it is pretty impressive at that time. So one of the other value that I brought to the table was not only bringing users to the exchange, but also bringing recognition for Web3 into the traditional world. So many people that we've worked with here was listening and hearing Web3 for the first time through my pitches, and we successfully brought them on board. So you could say that I play quite a vital role in bringing crypto to the mass markets. So today, the main topic that we are talking about is actually M3 DAO, and what this DAO actually means, how am I involved, and how can you make money with this DAO. So M3 DAO, what it is an investment and incubation DAO. So this is where we invest in quality early stage investments, and we offer the venture capital as a service service to the users, and we also have a thriving investors network. So why do I say venture capital as a service? Because even without the resources, the money that is needed to run a venture capital, you can also invest in projects that venture capital's firm invest in. So even if you have like $100, $1,000, you can also invest in high quality projects. So I'll share a little bit more about what these investments are later part in the presentation. But basically, in these projects, if you do not at least have 5 million USD sitting around in your wallet, they wouldn't even consider you for investment. But what we are doing here in M3 DAO is bringing these investments early with low valuation to the community, so that everybody, even those that do not have the funds, to also be able to invest in this. And on top of that, you are also able to build a team and make money out of growing your community. So what is GC Capital, and how are we involved with M3? GC Capital, as you can see, is my personal venture capital firm, and we have a team of 10 to 15 people right now, working on the investments, researching, doing analytical work, running around the world, doing events, getting involved with crypto exchanges, with crypto projects. We invest in early stage projects, and we are also paving the way for new projects to get a hold of traditional money. So in this GC Capital Venture Fund, I am the founder, and I also have a partner that is very close to me called James, and he was from Bybit. So he worked in Bybit during the early days where Bybit was still not very well known in the year 2020. And he was also one of the pioneers that built the marketing department for Bybit. And together with me, with my experience from Binance, we are able to get a hold of a lot of resources out there in the crypto world, and invest in high quality projects. So basically, any of the big names in crypto like Binance, OKX, like Polygon Ventures, like Dragonfly, Shima Capital, these are all our friends, and we are able to get hold of information early before projects make it big. So a little bit about what GC Capital has already achieved so far on the marketing end. We have received recognition from the big brands already, and we are partnered with industry giants that have been in the space for a long time. So in the bottom left of the screen, you can see DNA. So this actually stands for DNA Capital, and this is the venture fund that is started by the founder of USDT. So we are involved with these people as well and co-investing with them. We are also involved with Bybit. As you can see on the bottom right, that is the event that we hosted in Dubai with Bybit. And we also have close connections with the listing team and the marketing growth department, as well as the Web3 department of Bybit. And the rest of the other brands here that you see, like G2 Group, Castrum Capital, Signum Capital, BitGet, and Dex2s, these are just some of the small partners that we have. And there's a whole bunch of other partners that we are constantly building on in our network. And actually today, I found out that we were actually indexed in one of the big investment tracking websites. And it's called Masari.io. If you were to search Golden Carrot Capital on the Masari.io, you will actually find our portfolio there and some of the investments that we've done. So these are some of the early high-profile projects that we've invested in. And as you can see in the photo, there is Deep Link, and the U stands for Utopia. We have invested in Lamina, which is a Bitcoin ecosystem project. We have invested in Seraph, which is a huge GameFi project from Korea that will one day probably make their way into one of the big exchanges. We've also invested in Pika, which is a up-and-coming launchpad in the Bitcoin ecosystem. So the type of projects that we invest in are broad, and we are diverse across all departments, all categories in crypto. We have GameFi, AI, Bitcoin ecosystems, real-world assets, L1, L2 infrastructure, and more to come. So you can stay tuned to our activity, and we are able to actually bring all of these investment deals to you in M3 DAO. So now all of these have already, some of these rounds have already ended, for example, Utopia and Pika, but there are other projects in this list that you can pay attention to, because we will bring them to M3 DAO as well. So when we talk about money in M3 DAO, how will you make it? We are actually investing in projects, and it's as simple as that. When you come into M3 DAO, you also join a network of investors. You have your money put in safe investments that will double, triple, or even like 10x in the course of the next 1-2 years. So we are investing in seed rounds of projects. We are investing in avatars. We are investing through staking and community building as well. So that is the role that we actually bring to M3 DAO. We are providing all these insights into investments. We are providing a good deal flow of investment opportunities to M3 DAO as well. So in every single investment that we do at GC Capital, we split a portion of it out to M3 DAO. So everything that comes out in M3 DAO, you can be sure that we have invested in them. So just in case some of you are not familiar with what seed rounds mean, I have included a chat GPT definition of seed round in this slide here. So it's multilingual. If you can speak Japanese, then that's the Japanese definition for you. If you speak Chinese, that's the Chinese definition for you. But I believe most of us here in this call right now are English speakers. So you can take a little look at the definition right here. Take screenshots if you want, take pictures if you want. So a seed round is basically what a project or company needs in the initial funding stage. So that is where angel investors come in. That's where VCs come in, or even friends and family. So this money that we are investing into projects will help these projects build their product, go to market, and get listed on exchanges. So these investments that we put into the projects are repaid in tokens. So every project that we invest in, they will launch their own token. And on a monthly basis, according to a schedule, a vesting schedule, these tokens will be repaid to the investors. So how will this work in M3 DAO? I'll explain that in a little bit. So before we go to how investments are actually made for you as a user, I want to go into detail a little bit about how fundraising works in general. In the crypto space, what does a fundraise round look like? So in the very beginning, you have the strategic round. This is where the founders, co-founders of the project, or in the very, very early stage in the ideation process, we have people that have some money in the project. They would put in their own money into this round. to kickstart the project. So usually in this round, the strategic round, you would have like 500K to 3 million in valuation. So that doesn't mean that they have raised that much money, but this is how much money the project is deemed to be worth at that point of time. So once strategic round is over, we go into the angel round, and this is where you get some of the core partners. So partners in the project that would bring you resources, that would bring you value, and not just be a sole investor in the project. So in these angel rounds, you would see big VCs getting involved with projects, or some well-known investors would be involved in this project at this part of the investment fundraising round. And for this time frame, usually the valuation for a project is somewhere between 3 million to 15 million in valuation. So the next round is where we come in. It is what we call the seed round, and also the private round. So most, like 80% to 90% of the investors in institutional, the institutional investors, they would come in the seed round or the private round. And this is where the project has started publicly fundraising. So the earlier we come into a project, the lower the valuation is for us. And usually when it's in the seed round, the valuation goes anywhere from 15 million upwards to 50 million. And it could be more, it could be less, but 80% of the projects would be around this valuation. So this is where the project would start raising money. And every time a certain amount of funds is raised, the valuation goes up. So the project is worth more after each time they receive money. So in a seed round, there can be multiple rounds, 1, 2, 3 rounds, and each time the valuation could rise. So if we get into a project as M3 in the 50 million valuation range, there could be another venture capital or investment institution out there that get in a later price, or an earlier price, which is lower. Then we go on to the private round. That is where most of the mainstream VCs, mainstream investors will get involved. And generally, the only difference between the seed round and the private round is the price. So the vesting schedule, investment terms are pretty much all the same. And then we move on down to the Series ABC, and this is optional. Sometimes when a project does very, very well, it gets global recognition, there will be a Series ABC round where they raise big money from places like Silicon Valley, or in big institutions like BlackRock. But very hardly do we actually see projects in this Series ABC round, because that would go into the traditional startup fundraising vertical. So after the seed round, private round, and Series ABC, that's where we go into the stage of TGE. So in investing, you would see the term TGE a lot. That stands for the token generation event. And the TGE is referring to the first time a token is ever distributed on the blockchain. So that is where, if you are an investor, you receive a small amount of tokens, and it could be 10%, 15%, 20%, and you'll basically hold on to that tokens until the token is listed on an exchange. So after the TGE happens, we move on into the IDO, which stands for Initial Decentralized Offering. So decentralized meaning that it would be listed on a decentralized exchange like Uniswap, PancakeSwap, Jupiter, Radium. These are exchanges that you can log in without a KYC. And once we get there, usually the valuation for the project is way above 50 million. And what happens after the IDO? Usually the tokens will be able to be readily traded on the market, and you can get USDT for your tokens, or you could buy more tokens. And usually the price will fluctuate a little bit in the IDO stage once it has launched. So after the IDO, we move on to the IEO stage, which is where you actually go onto an exchange. So by the time a token has gone to an exchange, it has already gone through all these rounds of fundraising. So if you are buying your tokens on an exchange, or you are waiting for an exchange to come up with a certain launch, you are buying the tokens at the most expensive stage. So very, very little tokens actually launch on the IEO right away, on an exchange right away. And that is because you need a good amount of funds to be able to launch it without any kind of fundraising. So when it comes to the exchange stage, the valuation for a project actually goes up by quite a fair bit. So once you reach an exchange, you would have your valuation sitting around anywhere from 50 million to upwards of 1 billion or even more. So the exchange listings that you see on Binance, sometimes they bring the valuation up above $1 billion. But some news from the inside tells us that the valuation right now for Binance listings are within the 50 million to $300 million range as a total market cap for the project. So for you guys to visualize the price of a token more accurately and precisely, I have included another slide here where I have included the price a token would be at each point. So if the strategic round is $1, by the time it has reached an exchange, it would likely be well above 20 times the strategic round price. So the round where we get in is right here on the top, seed round to private round. So as you can see, the price fluctuates from $10 to $20. So by the time it reaches an exchange, there's a huge space for profit within the 5 to 10 times mark. So that's why once you invest in a seed round, it is almost for sure that you're gonna make money unless the project runs away or you invested in a scam. So why are you sure that you're not investing in a scam? That's because GC Capital would be investing in every single project that is gonna be presented to the M3 DAO. So we will not invest in any project that has not already been invested by the big guys. So when I'm talking about the big guys, these are people with like over 100 millions of dollars up to billions of dollars in management. Once any of these guys invested, that would be the time where we get involved. So if a fresh new project comes to us with no financial background, with no one backing them up, we will not invest. So the part where crypto projects run away, where your tokens are no longer available, they're worth nothing, this is not going to happen here. And even if it does happen, you know, I'm also in this with you. Not every investment is safe, but we keep the risk low so that the chances of failure are at the lowest. So now, when we are talking about you bringing your money into M3 DAO, how would it look like? In this chart, I would give you a brief run through about how the funds would reach GC Capital and how GC Capital would bring the funds to the project. So on the left side, that's where we begin. That's you with your money. You invest those monies into M3 DAO's product. So it could be in the form of avatars, it could be in the form of UME, or any of the jazz words that they use. That's where you get your first investment in. And this money, if you choose to invest in a project, a portion of this money would go into GC Capital, very, very small portion. And GC Capital would put in some extra allocation for the DAO. So in most cases, GC Capital is going to be investing in the majority of the allocation, and a small allocation will be given to M3 DAO. So every single project that you see on the DAO, we invest in. So once the money reaches the project, it will usually take a couple of weeks to a couple of months for them to launch the token. Because imagine you're investing in an IPO, it is not going to happen. The launch is not going to happen over a couple of days. It's going to take weeks or months. So once the project has launched the tokens, they would distribute the tokens, the very first batch, to GC Capital and also to M3 DAO. Because when you guys invest, when we invest with the DAO and also the VC, it's going to be split into 2 different tickets. So my fund get my part of the tokens, and the DAO also get their part of the tokens. Then once the tokens have reached back to M3, that's where M3 will be awarding these tokens to the users and the buyers of the M3 DAO products through a daily yield of 0.5 to X%, wherever that might be, because it fluctuates. So why are we actually able to why is M3 DAO actually able to provide daily yield, and why you don't have to wait as long as other investors? That's actually because GC Capital is also invested in all of these projects. Whenever we invest and we get the tokens, GC Capital would give the early part of the tokens that we receive over to the users. So that is because I'm involved in this DAO as an investment advisor and also the head of investment. So I bring in some kind of value as well when I'm in this DAO. So my early tokens would be given to M3 DAO, and this would be distributed to the users. So in this way, you wouldn't have to wait 1-2 months before you get your tokens, and you'll get your tokens in a very, very early stage. So for the VC that I run, we earn in the long game. So we are not in a rush to cash out. So we will wait all the way to the end where we receive majority of the tokens. So this is the main flow of how investments work in M3. So once we talk about investments, I also want to educate everyone. So in this call, you don't just learn about the DAO, you learn a little bit about investing as well. And this is also the part where I will tell you why trading is not a good source of income. So when we talk about investments, there's going to be the long term and the short term. And when we are doing investments, so in this slide, I'll go do a back and forth so that we have a comparison. So for the long term, we have the institutional players and we invest like institutions. So that is what we call the primary investments in this industry. And in the short term, you have the retail investors, which is what we call the secondary investors. So when you are investing on a secondary market, it means that it has already launched. So you are buying or investing in a circulating project. So usually you do this trading in one of the big exchanges, Binance, Bybit, MEXC, BitGet, whatever suits your needs, you would be trading in those exchanges. The timeline for a short-term trader would be anywhere from a day to a week to a month or less. But for an institutional trader, it would be on the timeline of 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, and even more. And when you're investing in long term, you're basically on the low to medium risk spectrum, whereas in the short term, you are on a volatile and super high risk profile when it comes to investments. So investing long term, we are looking at the fundamentals of every company, the fundamentals of every project, and we are looking at information, key information that is important when it comes to investing. So what kind of information are we talking about? Which VC funds, which institutions are getting involved in every project? That is what we are looking at. And we are not looking at the charts. We are not looking at the technical analysis. We are not drawing lines on a chart. But for short term, it's 100% based on speculation and charts. And we know that crypto is a new market. Charts probably would not work. Technical analysis doesn't work in crypto. Maybe it works a small portion of the time, but most times the charts on crypto don't make sense. And when you're doing long term, you're investing in seeds, private rounds, allocations, like I mentioned. And when you're doing short term, you're trading the tokens listed on exchanges. Well, at least 95% of you out there would be trading tokens on an exchange. In the long term, we call what we do investing, whereas in the short term, there is no short-term investment. It is just called trading, or what we call gambling. Mainly because you are just betting on whether the price will go up, go down based on no reliable information out there. You are just hoping that the token you buy would rise in price. And even some of the more experienced guys here in this call, is a hard truth to accept. Trading in crypto is gambling for most of you, unless you're very, very, very good at it. So when I'm saying this fact, trading is gambling, I'm not just running my mouth. I've also been there, done that. I'm also one of you guys. So this is a chart when you're doing 3 months of day trading, how it would probably look like for you if you started day trading with $10,000 in your account. At the very beginning on the left side, you'll make a little bit of money, go up to maybe 10, 11K, 12K. You get some kind of profit. And before you know it, your portfolio plummets down, and I think most of you can identify with this. You'll make your losses on an exchange, you'll get invested with leverage, and once you see some kind of upward movement, you'll think that it's the best time to buy right now. This is the dip, this is the bottom. You'll buy the dip, you'll put the rest of your money, you'll sell your car, sell your watch, and you'll invest them into the tokens that you bought that has crashed, thinking that you'll go back up. You'll do some DCA, dollar cost average, bring the price down of your investment, and hopefully make a profit in the end. But what happens after? Most likely, more often than not, if you're investing in something that you're not sure about, it's going to continue crashing. And if you're going to look at the chart for Bitcoin or some of the other bigger tokens out there, it is very hard to predict. So once you're down to, in the $2,000 range, $3,000 range, what an average so-called day trader would do is to look for trading signal groups, look for courses online, pay some good money to learn to be a good trader, find some trading finance gurus on YouTube that probably are using fake screenshots, fake accounts, paper accounts to show you profit. Or you're looking at some Warren Buffett videos to learn how to be a good investor. But then you're going to keep losing money all the way down where you almost have nothing, and you go out to the public telling everyone that crypto is a scam. Well, I'm here to say that crypto is not a scam if you're doing the right things. And because of how decentralized and how unregulated the crypto industry is, there are plenty of scams out there, but you'll only get scammed if you do not do the right things and you do not follow the right people. So why do I say that trading is a gambling activity? Why I call it gambling? It's because I've been there and done that. You've seen that I made some profit trading the spot tokens, investing in tokens and making over 16 million USD in my Binance account. I tried leverage trading, and on the very same month, I lost 20% of my portfolio. As you can see on the right side, that is my actual Binance account in 2021. And I still kept it as a reminder to myself of what the dangers of trading leveraged products is. So just over the course of a few months, I lost 20% of my portfolio. As you can see, is over 360 million and almost $3.6 million and almost $3.7 million that I've lost. So I have also lost a good amount of money. Well, it may not be a lot of money to some of you, but to me, it was 20% of my portfolio, which is a good amount of money. And because of my misjudgment and mistake in the year of 2021, I've chosen and sworn to never touch trading ever again, and I'll only invest long term. So how do you invest long term? It is through these seed rounds that I'm talking about. You're investing in high potential projects and you're playing the long game. Gone are the days where you are making money overnight, 2x your money overnight, 10x your money. Those are what a scammer would promise you. And I'm sure you have met your fair share of scammers in crypto and you do not want to get scammed again. Real crypto trading and investments do not net you a profit of 2x overnight unless you are so super lucky. So trust me on this one. I'm a experienced guy. I've been there, done that. Even though I'm young, I've done most of the things in crypto that you probably haven't even heard about. So now this is the chart where you're investing with M3 DAO if you're investing long term. And this is a chart that I have confirmed in my past 2-3 years of investing long term in seed rounds. I have never made a loss in any seed investments. It has always netted me a profit of at least 2x. So my worst investments in seeds netted me 2x, and my best investments netted me 52x. So I have flipped my money multiple times. That's how I'm able to get to where I am today and how I'm able to start my own fund. So this is a chart of what it will look like if you started investing 3 years in the long term with 10K in your account. So as you can see from the first left side of the chart, the beginning starts slow. And why it is slow is because seed rounds takes time for money to be generated, profits to be generated. You need time for the projects to launch. So the first batch of seed rounds that you invest in would bring you profit in about 2-3 months. And you would see a positive growth in your account after that time when a token has listed on an exchange or listed on a DEX or have some big partnerships in the crypto space. So in the second part, that's where you have invested in 5 to 10 seeds and you've been investing consistently with M3 DAO. This is where your growth for your financial assets starts to be exponential and what we call parabolic. It's gonna grow 2 to 4x, and within the next 2 years of investing, you're gonna see your initial 10K be 5 to 10x or even more. So if you put in a 10K at the very beginning, you might see the value of your investments running up to upwards of 200K. And this means that you are only investing in the seed rounds with your 10K and not adding any more funds. But if you do add more funds, the returns can get a lot more ridiculous and you can see way bigger returns. And right now, it is one of the best times to be investing in crypto. And I'll let you know why in a bit. This right now, 2024, is the best time that you can invest in crypto. So why is that so? So right here, I present you the chart of Bitcoin and the price action of the general crypto market because the price of every token out there pretty much follows the price action of Bitcoin. So if you look at the red line there on the screen, that's where the USA elections would happen almost every single time. It would happen in November, and it has been happening in the same date for the past decade or so. So as you can see for the blue line, the price of Bitcoin and crypto in general rose right after the 2016 elections where Trump was elected. And for the green line, which is for the President Joe Biden, when he was elected, there was also a huge growth in crypto. And now where we are right now is the white line. If you can look at the white line right now with the circle, that's where we are right now. So just by looking from the historical patterns in crypto, things that has already happened twice is probably going to happen for the third time again. So once the time has come for the next elections to end, whether it is Kamala Harris or it would be Trump, whether the financial policies are good or bad, the markets are going to go crazy because either way, there will be people rushing into crypto to bet on the volatility. That has happened for the past 2 elections, and it will happen again in this year, in November. And if you look at your calendars, we are just short of 2 months away from the next election results being released. So once you reach the next election, chances are crypto is gonna go on a bull run again. So even though for the past couple of months, you've seen the news, there's always been talk about, the bull run never coming back, the bull run is over. We have the CEO of Telegram getting arrested. We have the CEO of Binance being arrested. There's all kinds of bad news. But bad news always happen to this industry because of how decentralized it is. The government just want to control this industry. So by the time it comes for the elections, we'll probably see some really good news. And right now, it looks like Trump is going to be winning the elections. And Trump has, on multiple occasions, mentioned his support for crypto. And he mentioned that the development and advancements in crypto technology is going to happen in the US. So whether or not the outcome is good, when Wall Street sneezes, the rest of the world catches a cold. That's what we always say in the finance world, whether it's stocks or crypto. So this news alone should be enough signal for you to be putting your money into crypto right now, whether it is M3 DAO, Bitcoin, or any other thing in crypto, whatever you think is going to be good for you, you invest in. But I'm telling you that once you come to GC Capital, come to M3 DAO, we will bring you the best high quality deals that you can see ever in crypto as an average user. And the good thing is that you don't even need the funds of a VC to be investing into VC projects. So that's why I brand myself as a VC as a service, venture capital as a service. And the beauty about this is that I am doing what I always wished for 4 years ago when I entered the crypto exchange space. I've always been wondering who exactly is investing in these projects before it launches on Binance. How do I get in early? I always look at people that have invested in 10x projects, 100x projects, and I've always dreamt of being one of them. But I've only been able to get that once I've started investing long-term myself. And it takes a lot of money to be recognized by these projects, by these startups, for them to want to receive your money. So we are bringing all these deals to you at basically no cost. You are just, you can walk it out, wait for the next project, look at the performance of the first project, second project, and you'll see for yourself that this is one of the best investment opportunities out there that you can ever make as a Binance average trader or an average trader in crypto in general, average investor in general. And even better, if you are new to crypto, you know nothing about crypto right now, this is the best place to get started because you'll be getting involved in a thriving investors community, whether it is offline, in events all across the world, or on these Zoom calls where you get education about the crypto industry. So M3 DAO is the best place for you to be investing right now. And so far, we've seen and shared with the community are the 4 projects that we've invested, and each and every one of them has done so well. So there will be more to come, and it will always be high quality projects. So you can stay tuned to what we have here in GC Capital, and you'll be putting your money in the right place, basically. So when it is such a good time in the world right now to be investing in crypto, why not place your faith in this community right now, join the DAO, and make money through investments? Finally make money. So if you join us in 2024, that's where your net worth would be. And in about 4 years' time, it's going to grow 5x. I can guarantee you that as long as you invest consistently, you'll make the returns. So thank you very much for listening to my sharing session, and I hope this has been a helpful session for all of you. And I hope that you're able to have some faith in investing in crypto, because dreams do happen. Unless you are investing blindly, you are trading blindly, you receive an email from a scammer and you think that is a seed round. Unless you are into that kind of stuff, then no, I can't comment much. But right here in M3 DAO, we only bring you the highest and best quality investment deals that you can get in this industry without being involved in the crypto world. You don't have to work 5 years in a crypto exchange, 5 years in a venture capital. No need for experience. We bring all of that experience to you through this DAO. So join today, find your uplines, and get invested. Thank you, everyone. And I'll pass the mic back to Jensen.
Thank you so much, GC. I really sincerely thank GC for taking his time to share his knowledge and also expertise with us today. So your leadership in the investment department of M3 DAO has been invaluable. And the incredible projects that we had the privilege to join have all been possible because of you and your hard work. So we deeply appreciate your vision and also the countless opportunities that you will bring to us. So thanks again, GC.